So yesterday was Gamera's birthday. It was Thanksgiving. I wasn't able to do anything, but I did want to do a video centered around Gamera. And what better way than to rank the Gamera movies we have so far? Now, I'm not going to rank Gamera Rebirth because that was an anime series, so that won't be included in this ranking. But we're going to talk about both the Showa and Heisei films, and also the One Millennium movie we got. So as always, since it is a ranking movie, since this is a ranking video, keep in mind this is just my personal opinion. If you think of a movie should be higher or lower on the list, that's totally fine. I got no problem with you. But this is just my personal opinion. This is just how I see the movies, so keep that in mind. Anyway, so let's get started. We're gonna go from worst to favorite. Which you probably wouldn't have guessed by now, the Heisei movies are going to be taking the top 3 spot. I think we can all agree that that's the height of Gamera films. It's just the matter of where do those movies go, right? Anyway, bottom of the list, it's Gamera Super Monster. That is, I would rather watch Godzilla's Revenge over Gamera Super Monster. This movie is dumb. It's all recycled clips. The Superwomen thing, the Supergirl thing is weird, and I think it was from a plot that they wanted to use for its own movie, but then they're like, let's throw Gamera in there. That doesn't make any sense. The continuity doesn't make any sense, and this movie's just boring. It is boring, a slog to get through. Yeah. So the shock of Noah, it's Gamera Super Monster. Next up, you have Gamera versus Gamera versus Zigra. Gamera versus Zigra. Man, you want to talk about these movies? I know these movies were meant for kids. I'm well aware that these movies were very much meant for children. But holy Christ, is this movie boring? Zigra isn't an interesting monster. The story is just bland. And, yeah, the kid characters suck. Just straight up suck. So, yeah, these movies are just, bad. A lot of them are just bad, but we're gonna get to better ones, I swear. Next up, we have Gamera versus Viras. Gamera versus Viras, it's really hard to see, who's, Zigra and Viras are definitely movies that I am which movie sucks more? I mean, Super Monster sucks the most, but out of those following that, those two are racing to the bottom of the barrel too. Viras isn't an interesting villain. The storyline is also there's nothing really to say about them other than they're just boring and bland, and also the kid characters are not good. It really just sucks. These first 3 Gamera films I'm talking about at the bottom of the list are just boring, bad, and there's no effort in these movies at all. There's just absolutely none. The only reason I put Viras just a little bit higher is probably because we get a little more Gamera action than the other one. That's basically it. So, let's move on now to Gamera versus Jiger. This one's a little better. This one I actually like. Jiger's a cool monster. I also like the idea of a monster xenomorphing a xenomorphing Gamera. Jiger's a cool design. I like his storyline, or its storyline, because it's hatching eggs, so maybe her. I don't know. Jiger's also the fight's also a lot of fun too. The Kenny, what can you say about the Kennys? I'm coining a phrase from Brandon Tenold, so yeah. But, what can you say about the Kennys at this point? They're bad. It's also very annoying. Anyway, so following that, we have Gamera versus Barugon. Gamera versus Barugon is an interesting one because, in that movie, Gamera versus Barugon is the only movie without a Kenny, without a kid character. And Barugon is such a weird monster. I really enjoy him, a prehensile tongue, rainbow laser back, and just all around weird. I will say that the movie is a bit boring. It is the direct sequel to Gamera. It's the original Gamera film, but it is the first one in color too, and it's also just kind of a slog. There's just a moment where Gamera and Barugon are like, I know they're acting like actual animals and trying to like size each other up, but it just drags on for like 3 minutes. The fight is pretty fun though, and also the villain character, how he dies, is one of the best scenes in movie history. I swear to God. But yeah, this is another one where I'm just like, okay. Anyway, so next up, we have Gamera the Invincible, the first movie. Yeah, Gamera the Invincible, the first movie on here, it's good. I think it's fun. The kid character is okay, and I think this movie really wants to be... You can clearly see this movie wants to be a Godzilla knockoff, right? Like, we all agree that this movie tries very hard to be Gojira, but with a little more kid influence. Gamera in this first film is pretty cool. There's actual effort in this movie, and it's not boring. You can't say anything about that this movie isn't boring. A lot of fun. Also, I can't help but watch this movie and think of Riff Track's take on Gamera. The American theme. Gamera and Batman. Gamera, it goes so Batman. Anyway, so it's a fun movie. I think it's fun, and definitely was a start to a monster that is, it's a start to a monster legacy that can't seem to get out of its own way. That's the best way to describe the Gamera franchise. Anyway, next up, Gamera versus Guiron. I have fun with this movie. Is the plot really bad? Yes, but that's basically part of the course of Showa Gamera films in general. Guiron is a great monster. He's one of my favorite monsters from the Gamera era. He's got this fun axe head design and shooting shurikens out of his face. The whole movie is just, it's entertaining. There's a lot of fun to it, and also the fight between Gamera and Guiron is goddamn ridiculous. But at the same time, I can't look away from it. Anyway, so there you go. Next up, Gamera versus Gauss. This one, this is the appearance of Gauss, the first villain. I guess you could call him the arch villain of Gamera. Gauss is a terrifying threat. Like seeing him going around eating people, he's pretty terrifying in that first movie. I also like his ability, like that effect of like him using his sonic beam to like slice something and you see the thing move before it explodes. Really cool. The kid character sucks. Also the subplot of like the, villagers and the big company trying to bulldoze whatever the fuck. Doesn't matter. Gamera versus Gauss, those fights are great. It's a cool movie. Next up, Gamera the Brave. I know Gamera the Brave is, kind of divisive among the Gamera fan base. I like it. It is a very kid-friendly movie. At the same time, though, there's a lot of heart to it, especially like the main character and his dad. I also like all the kid characters in here. Gamera himself is pretty like lame at some points, but at the same time, there's a lot of heart to this movie. Also, Zetus is a cool villain too. Also, it's just weird to not hear Gamera have his classic roar. Yeah. Anyway, so now we come to the top three, the cream of the crop, the Gamera trilogy. So where do the Gamera films rank for me? Now we get to the real ranking. Like, where do these films sit for me? So, let's get started. Starting off with Gamera, Guardian of the Universe. What a way to reboot your universe. Like, what way to reboot a character that desperately needed a look. It's dark, but not like oppressively dark. That's part of the course of the whole trilogy. Gamera's got a solid design, which gets better throughout the films. The Gauss in here, I love the redesign of Gauss. Also, the fact that there are multiple Gauss. And the human elements are really cool, too, how they play off of Gamera. It's a solid reboot. Anyway, at second place, we have Gamera Advent of Legion. Gamera Advent of Legion, Legion is a great the Legion Queen is a great design, and Gamera and the Legion themselves are really cool as well. Like a human enemy for them, like a human-sized enemy for the humans to fight. Again, the human element is a little weaker here, but I think it still has its strengths. The fights between Gamera and the Queen, awesome, brutal stuff. I love that scene where like Gamera's landing and firing like strafing rounds as he's like skidding along the buildings and just firing strafing rounds at the Legion Queen. Awesome. So by process of elimination, you already know what it is. The last piece of the Gamera trilogy, arguably one of the greatest kaiju films of all time, Gamera, Revenge of Iris. Iris is an awesome villain, looking like a goddamn angel from Evangelion. You have a great human element of this story. Gamera in here has his best design yet. The fights are great. They're brutal. And it ends on such a like dark note, but at the same time, there's hopefulness to it as well. This movie has earned the right of being called one of the greatest kaiju films of all time. In fact, the entire Gamera trilogy is like, long ago, my friend Zazubar, if you've been on this channel long enough, you remember him, called it the Dark Knight trilogy of kaiju films. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Anyway, so that's my ranking of the Gamera films, my late tribute to Gamera's anniversary yesterday. But you guys tell me in the comments below, where do the Gamera films rank for you? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope y'all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.